Good evening, everyone. It's 6:32 p.m. and we are back with our COVID Warrior series. Well, this is going to be a very, very exciting episode. Well, we are waiting for Jay sir to join us, but I have with me already Yatin. And Yatin is one of the most well-known faces in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Yatin has been a social entrepreneur. He's been one of the founding people for the concept of co-working way before co-working became a phenomena in India. Yatin also has been a phenomenal anchor of various initiatives to help the startup ecosystem in India. He's been somebody who's brought Gen, which is a global entrepreneurship network, to India. So all those people who remember Ivanka Trump coming to India, Yatin was one of the people behind it. Yatin, welcome to COVID Warriors.
Thank you so much, Shom, for having me over here today.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure, and we are waiting for Jay sir to join us. He was with us. He was with me and Yatin just a few moments back when we were doing a little bit of a testing, and then he had a little bit of a concern with his microphone, and we have him back. Jay sir, we still can't hear you though. So he's gonna let him figure out and join back, because he's right now at a very remote village. He's gone there to look after his ailing mother, and he's trying to join us from there. But Yatin, let's start with you. So I know we were rather discussing in early Jan when I just came to India. We were looking forward to meeting, and I met you in February in India. And who knew that from then till now the entire phenomena is going to change. So I think now the new word or new term.
Are you able to hear Som?
Perfect. Welcome back, Jay sir.
Thank you. I'm using other phone.
Perfect. So let me thank you so much. I know I was just telling our audience that
go ahead.
You're in a remote village right now, and you took the time out to be a part of the COVID Warrior series. And you, me, and Yatin were just chatting a few minutes back, and you were having a little bit of the audio trouble. But welcome back, sir. So let me take the opportunity and the honor to introduce you to our viewers today. So I've been running this series for over the last 1 month, and it's actually a 1 month anniversary. So nothing like having two coveted legends, in their own rights on my show. So those of you who've just joined in, Jay sir is someone who I think the whole of India is acquainted with. If you are an entrepreneur, if you are in any kind of business, if you are in policy making, Jay sir was a founding father of STPI, which was the revolution that allowed India to get its software technology to get what it has today. Jay sir, a lot of people don't know that Jay sir was also the chief architect of the chip that went into the first Apple iPod. So every big innovation that has happened, India has played a major role and has been a key contributor, and Jay sir has been at the helm of it. And that was the time when Jay sir was the founder of a company called Portable Player, which later got acquired by NVIDIA. And Jay sir was then the managing director of NVIDIA for over 3 years. Jay sir was also the chief secretary and the IT advisor to Chandrababu Naidu. And those who of you know about the fintech revolution in India, Jay sir is the man behind it. He also is the chairman of the Blockchain Advisory Council of India. He is the one of the co-founder of Talent Sprint. He's the co-founder of Hyderabad Angels. He's the co-founder of Thai Hyderabad. Well, the list is endless. But Jay sir, thank you so very much for being a part of COVID Warriors. You've been a part of my life for many years. And you've been literally like a father figure to me, holding my hands and walking through a lot of new things, a lot of new initiatives that I've driven. So welcome again to you and Yatin to be on the show.
Thank you, Som. I really want to thank you for giving me the great opportunity to be part of your warrior team. Sorry for the initial interruption, because I am in my small village here. Internet connection is not that good. So I'll try to do my best in answering your questions. So you are doing a great job, and I believe that you already started manufacturing some of the PPE equipment for the COVID situation, masks as well as the sanitizers and other PPE equipment. I think you're doing a great job, Som. I really want to really thank you and congratulate you for your efforts, not only in the technology domain, even during the COVID times, you jumped into the situation and trying to help the Indian hospitals by supplying all the necessary PPE equipment. Thanks a lot for giving this opportunity to interface with your viewers through this session. Thank you so much.
So it's my honor. You and Yatin have been a part of my life in completely different ways. And like I said, I've learned a lot from both of you. And the reason I wanted to have you both on the same show is to give my viewers who've been a part of this COVID warrior journey over the last few weeks insight into what is really happening in the world of technology, what is really happening in the world of entrepreneur ecosystem, what is really changing post the COVID times, and how we need to be prepared. And before you talk about technology, before you talk about entrepreneurship, the most important grappling question is education. I have a daughter who's 10, and her life has suddenly changed up, dramatically, right? She was used to going to school. Now everything is online, and she can't even meet her friends, and it's tough. I remember talking to you in the early Feb, before even this pandemic ensued, about Education 5.0. You have been the founding person behind even Industry 5.0 for India, which came into being in 2018, and now Education 5.0. So what is going to change in education post-COVID? How we as a country with such a young youth population and such a challenging time, especially when it comes to the job environment, is going to deal with it. So we'll start with that question, and then I want to talk to Yatin about how the entrepreneurial ecosystem is going to change.
Yeah, thank you, Som. I think this is a very, very important question to be answered by everybody. Today we are passing through a very, very complex and critical phase of everybody's life, and particularly India with the 1.3 billion population, and we have lots of issues, infrastructure and issue, and so many things are happening. On top of that, this COVID pandemic also pushing us to a kind of a corner. In addition to that, now we are getting the India-China, some border issues and all that. So a lot of people are really, really worried about what is going to happen to them tomorrow. That is the kind of situation most of the Indians are at this point of time. Particularly, since I am in the rural area in a small village in Anantapur district in Andhra Pradesh, I have seen here people are really do not know what is going to be the future for their kids. Tomorrow, what is going to happen to them? Whether their kids will get proper education, whether they will get a job, what is going to be the economic situation for the farming community. Everybody is really, because they don't know. All the SME companies are literally on the deathbed at this point of time because of the COVID situation. As it is, because of the automation, many jobs were getting laid off earlier. On top of that, now the COVID situation, most of the SME companies are down because of the cash flow issues, the marketing issues. On top of that, the education system itself, as you rightly mentioned, we are passing through not just Industry 4.0, already Industry 5.0 is now taking the baton. At this point of time, most of the educational institutions at the school level and also the higher education, they really clueless. What is happening, how they are going to teach, train the people, the students going through their educational system, they are clueless. And the government also trying to do some tinkering, this thing. They are not really bringing the much required kind of a reforms in the school education and higher education to prepare them. It's like I keep telling about, this is like a Kurukshetra war in Mahabharata time, how the Kurukshetra war took place, how people had different strategies to face the Kurukshetra war. Today, we are going to this war without any proper strategies, and people may get killed because they don't have proper strategies to win this Kurukshetra war. They don't know what strategy is required to really, survive and succeed in this kind of a complex Kurukshetra war at this point of time. And this is the time, Som and Yatin, I think people like us, we have to really bring out a network with each other, find out how we can really come forward, come with some innovative suggestions. Let us not only depend on government is going to do something better for the people. I think it is a responsibility for all of us. Every citizen has to really, be aware of what is going to happen. Accordingly, we have to come with our own innovative solutions to provide some kind of a solution. Recently, for example, some of our people, we came forward and create a forum called Job Angels. Particularly the rural areas, they are directionless. They particularly engineering college students. Earlier, at least some companies used to go for campus recruitment. Even that's also not going to happen. They are really able. They're facing a lot of problems, and we are trying to see how we can help them, how we can motivate them, inspire them, and tell them what to study, what not to study, how they can face the industry tomorrow. I think all of us have to come forward and come with some kind of a solution for this industry 5.0 and also the education 5.0 at the school level as well as the higher education. And it's much needed at this point of time. It's like a Lagan team. All of us have to come together as one team and see that we have to, how we are going to win this game. If we are not able to come together as a team, and if you think that, oh, it is a government problem, it's some college management problem, some school management problem, if you keep discussing and criticizing with each other, then I think whole India is going to fail. And at this point of time, all of us have to come together with a lot of patriotism, and we have to come forward and see how we can provide a solution. And each one, like every drop of rain can create a big ocean. Though we think that we are a drop of rain, but all of us together can create that river, water, create that ocean, and that will inspire the people, that will take care of whatever the pandemic situation is going to create a complex situation. So I'm glad to be with you, Som, and also with Yatin, how we can form kind of a different forums to address these issues. So
I think, sir, you touched upon very important points, is that we always focus on the urban sector challenges when any kind of pandemic comes into NCU, right? Any kind of challenges, we first think about the urban sector. We often, overlook what is happening in our rural economy. And our rural economy, and I was talking to a very coveted, youth thinker and a political activist last week, where we were talking about what is the backbone of our economy? The unorganized sector, which needs, if not now, if we do not organize them now, if we do not have policies to be able to map the unorganized sector, to understand what kind of GDP the unorganized sector is contributing, to be able to map the rural sector, to look at rural economy as one of the most important and critical pillars of our country, and also bifurcate education. Look at education in a lot more agile way. And I'm going to discuss those with you. And like you said, if we can use today's forum to come up with some strategies, come up with some ideas that can be implemented, taking people together from all different spectrums of life, that is going to be a real revolution. That is going to actually make this entire struggle that we're in right now a lot more worthwhile, right? And with that, I want to, talk to Yatin about it. Yatin, you have been an entrepreneur since you were 16 years old, right? You have seen India going through some of its key changes, revolutions. Indeed, entrepreneurship was not even a really much talked about word a few years back, and you've seen that transformation. Those who are watching today should know that not only were you the first person to actually start a co-working in India before co-working even became fancy, you were one of those pioneers in whose co-working a lot of the biggest entrepreneurs were born, including Oyo, right? Ritesh worked out of your co-working. Today, Oyo is in trouble. Swiggy is in trouble. Ola is in trouble. A lot of these big companies with big funding, big valuation are in trouble. What's what's the future of the entrepreneurial ecosystem in India, Yatin? What are you seeing as a big change, and what should be some of the steps that we should take to to battle these challenges?
Well, sure, my opinion is when there is a challenge, that's the biggest opportunity for an entrepreneur. And
Very
that gives rise to different entrepreneurs. We saw that happening during Y2K. We saw that happening during 2008 recession. We saw
right,
that happening in 2012, and we are getting to see it now.
right.
Uh, Usually the life cycle of an industry, of any sort of disruption or revolution was 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, in these times with the tech advancing so rapidly,
Mm-hmm.
the churn time has reduced to, I think, 4 or 5 years, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
we are getting to see. So
Mm-hmm.
companies peak every 4 years, and then something new comes up.
Right.
Uh, I've been fortunate to be in the industry since 2003. So I've got my 17 years of ups and downs, the roller coaster ride. All I can say out of my journey is that every time we are hit by any sort of crisis, we have come out much stronger and we
Mm-hmm.
have bounced back in no time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that's going to be the case again. This time it's very different than what used to happen earlier.
Right.
This time the whole world is forced to come to a standstill.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier we saw there were specific markets which would be impacted due to their own economic or financial reasons or political changes, but this time the world is literally helpless,
Mm-hmm.
right? But what we got to understand is this world is also very educated, it's talented, it's tech enabled, it's very well connected with each other. And so I'm pretty sure that the way we are advancing out, things would happen in a much stronger manner, whatever it happens. I know we are still waiting for the vaccine to come out.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know when exactly will it be out, but the interesting part is the minute it is out, you get to know it, right?
Right.
It's not something which is hidden,
Correct.
and so that's the speed at which things are moving. So I feel at this point of time, a lot of business models are in question.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of investors are in question about whatever was happening, and a lot of people just don't have answers to most of the things around them. So if you go and talk to an investor who was putting in money on different companies and who was busy building a portfolio today, they don't have an answer except recommending their entrepreneurs to go become conservative. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that's the right approach,
Mm-hmm.
right? Entrepreneurs are known to be disruptors. They are known to be problem solvers. They are known to be innovators. And I think we as a world need to accept them, be hopeful with them, and support them in
Mm-hmm.
helping us sail through these situations.
So Yatin, what I heard when you said, if I have to summarize, is that we as entrepreneurs find an opportunity in every adversity. So this looks like an opportunity for us. Like Jason was telling you, right, that I jumped into the COVID business because I've always been a big believer of Make in India. So before even our PM talked about local to local to global, I was already working on something because I thought this was a great opportunity for us to showcase to the world the quality of infrastructure we have when it comes to production, when it comes to manufacturing, and how about we cannot displace China. We figure out an alternative to China, and why not India, specifically with the kind of population we have, the kind of youth power we have, and the kind of innovation we have. Right, some of the top, the top 20 companies. Out of the top 20 companies, 60% of the leaders are Indians. It just goes to show the kind of thought leadership that we bring to the table. So besides bringing thought leadership to the Western world, how about we build thought leadership to our country? And I think that's what comes out from what you just said. That being conservative, but that's not the way you work with an entrepreneur. You need to give them the leash. But also, Yatin, I think the challenge is that you want to give them the leash, but where is the money going to come from, right? Like, especially when it comes to Oyo and Ola and service providers like that, whose total revenue is dependent on people going out, people socializing, people taking on trips. Well, people are going to be conservative because looks like the vaccine is far off. Even if it's going to come, it's another 12 to 18 months off. So with that, I want to ask Jay sir this question. So we don't know. By the way, your family has a lot of doctors, just like mine. And indeed, you have a lot of access to people in the US who's working on the vaccine. So the vaccine is far off. What is that immediate solution? The reason I'm asking you specifically is that today the viewers who are watching, who are hearing a lot of announcements from the government every other day, they really don't know the impact it has on their lives, right? Like the economy is opening up, but people's worry is that, is it safe? Can I really venture out and become experimental? So my question to you, sir, is that today in this kind of situation, what are some of the key things the entrepreneurs need to keep in mind, the business fraternity needs to keep in mind to just survive, right? Just the fact of survival, because the layoffs are like boundless right now. Like all the big companies are laying off, and how do we survive this situation?
Yeah, so I think it's a very, very important. You have touched a very, very sensitive thing at this point of time, and people like Yatin have the answer because we have a lot of innovators like Yatin and yourself, and I think we have to promote the startup culture in a much bigger way, because innovation at this critical juncture, we have to come out with really a lot of innovative ideas, innovative products. And this is the time really we have to come out of the box thinking and come with, as our Honorable Prime Minister said, local and vocal. And India itself can provide a lot of local opportunities. Once we provide the solution, we have to be vocal about it, because we are not good at marketing where we are good at what technologies we can really make those products, and we can not only sell in India, but sell outside India also. But unfortunately, many of our entrepreneurs, they're not that aggressive like the US startup companies. I think the time has come for us. We have to be more vocal about our own technologies, whatever the technology. A lot of intelligent people like Yatin and yourself, a lot of them are there in every city, every town. I think this is the time when we are losing jobs in one sector, but the new sector, which is going to provide opportunities. Every complex problem going to create opportunities for entrepreneurs like you. And you have to come with some innovative solution. That innovative solution, that startup company probably can provide new job opportunities. I think we have to have that kind of a balanced way of, instead of scaring people, no, people are going to lose jobs. There is not going to be new jobs. And we should not scare people with that kind of a terminology. Instead, we have to come with a new slogan. These new opportunities which COVID has created, this current complex situation is created. India has got the internal strength, and we can create more technology products, not only for India, but for the world. And that will create new job opportunities. And also we should parallelly, we should start providing some training program. How do we get the people? How do we get the students who are going through the school system or college system to provide the proper tools to them and give them the necessary tools, and take them as intern in your respective startups and all that thing. So we have to really come with some kind of a innovative way of creating the new job opportunities. So otherwise, see, as everybody says, "Jo dar gaya, samjho wo mar gaya," is a famous Sholay dialogue. Even Swami Vivekananda also said, "The fear is the death." Once we start fearing about everything, that almost, it's like a death for all of us. So we should create a positive vibe. No, we have enough strength, and we can create new jobs, and India is going to do very well in this kind of opportunity what COVID is created. And we have to background people like us. We have to start working on what are those opportunities. How do we make the rural engineers or rural students to get properly trained so that they can work for us? I mean, we have to really come with some innovative processes, innovative education system, and innovative companies will come, and definitely we'll be able to overcome this the Kurukshetra war, which is created by this new pandemic, COVID pandemic. I'm very optimistic.
That's why I have two really really optimistic people on the show, because what happens is that when you've been hearing for the last 4 months almost about all the negativity, about all the economic meltdown, about all the crisis, you need anchors, right? We all need anchors. We all need people to hold our hand and make us believe that it is all going to be okay. And like you and Yatin are saying that, and I believe it firmly, that every adversity is an opportunity for us, but that needs to be encashed. India is
Yes.
great at producing. India is great at producing talent, but it is not as great as leveraging those talents. I think it's the right time for us to leverage that talent as well. Like, for example, why I keep talking about manufacturing is because the transformation that happened with China was because of the labor management, is because of the infrastructure that was an output of the manufacturing capabilities they brought to the world. Well, everybody knows about China's quality, so there is no question about the quality, because we can outbeat China in quality any day. What works is that discipline, the discipline that is required to make India become more resilient, become more self-reliant, and like PM Modi said, Atmanirbhar. The Atmanirbharta can only come if there is a support system. So who is going to give this support system, Jay sir and Yatin? I want to ask both of you this question. I want to start with Yatin. Yatin, we're talking about Atmanirbharta over 1 month now. Is Atmanirbhar all about saying, oh, it's my idea, I'm going to bootstrap, not go to an investor, build something? Or Atmanirbharta is, yes, I have a great idea. Even I can build a Zoom out of India. I don't need a Zoom from China to, have digital communication. Why is a Zoom not being built out of India? Or what are we doing to enable something like a WhatsApp being built out of India? We talk about it. The ministry, especially the finance ministry, has talked about the 3 lakh crore push into the economy, especially for the SMB sectors, which should be basically driven through the banking banking economy. The banks are supposed to allow us, SMEs to get loans in time, to be able to get no collateral loans. How much of that is reality, Yatin? Do they all exist in paper, or they also, from your experience with entrepreneurs, do they get access to these resources? You've been a very integral part of Startup India. You've seen Invest India. How much of that is actually a success? So is Make in India really a reality, or it's still a far off dream? Is Atmanirbharta is going to be something that we have to just take care of ourselves, or will there be anchors who are going to come forward to make the whole Atmanirbhar Bharat story see its reality?
So on that, what I would like to say is, I think you are a true story of Atmanirbharta, jumping into manufacturing PPE kits. You have the answer to the question itself. And, about 10 days back, I was listening to our textile minister on a live session, and she mentioned how India came forward, like when we got hit with pandemic, from that day to week 3, how India was actually manufacturing PPE kits. She said there was not even a single manufacturing source over here. I think we had very basic mask producing facility, but they were definitely not sufficient to service 120 crore people or 150 crore people. From that point, week 3, when the country had its own manufacturing facilities, and those manufacturing facilities haven't been set up overnight. Government of India, the textile ministry, the finance ministry, the corporate sector, the industry, everyone came together, right? So they are saying there were industries who, like the textile industry, who had the capability to manufacture, but probably the industrialists didn't have the capital.
Exactly.
How the corporate sector chipped in, how they figured out ways to use their money as CSR money to
Mm-hmm.
actually enhance the manufacturing facilities in India. The
Mm-hmm.
machinery which was not available in India was actually imported at that point of time. And today
Mm-hmm.
we have all those units established over here. Today,
Right.
I have my own friends in like 2 months' time who are saying, "Hey, we are manufacturing 30 to 40,000 masks in our
Mm-hmm.
factory. We have
Mm-hmm.
imported the machinery, we have put in the money, and
Mm-hmm.
we have capability of manufacturing 20,000, 30,000 masks a day." Like
Yeah.
that translates into
True.
almost like 500,000 masks a month.
Yeah.
So that is the capacity which one Indian or one Indian entrepreneur or an industrialist can
Mm-hmm.
create if they really uh, come to working. So
Correct.
that's one thing which I feel is happening. Second,
Mm-hmm.
where you asked me about the 3 lakh crore MSME loan which
Mm-hmm.
the government has allocated in form of
Mm-hmm.
emergency credit line
Right.
guarantee scheme,
Yeah. Yeah.
ECLGS, as
Yeah.
they like to put it together. It's
Mm-hmm.
very much happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a beneficiary of the credit guarantee scheme of the government. I
Right.
think you were very kind enough to introduce me to that scheme 2 years back. And as part of that, we did get a call from our bank, and
Mm-hmm.
they said, "We have been instructed by the
Mm-hmm.
government
Mm-hmm.
to enhance your credit limit and
Yep.
to give you this added money. So
Yep.
it's available for you. Now you
Yep.
got to tell us, do you want it or you don't want it? If you
Right.
don't want it, we pass it on to someone else. But if you
Yep.
want it, say yes, we'll send our person, they'll
Right.
take your signatures, we'll open a separate bank account, and we
Right.
are loading that money into that bank account."
Right.
I think these are things which were never heard of, right?
True.
So people
True.
are people might be saying, "Hey, there are like only few people who'll be benefited out of this money. It'll be
Right.
only the top end of the
Yeah.
industry which will get
Yeah.
benefit out of it." That is
Yeah.
not true, guys. It is
Right.
actually trickling down to people like
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
The difference is what Indian entrepreneurs fail to understand is that when you are building an enterprise, focus on building a sustainable enterprise,
True.
focus on generating revenue,
Mm-hmm.
focus on building your credibility.
True.
If a bank has lended money to me, that means
Mm-hmm.
I have justified my credibility and
True.
they know where am I going. Every
Mm-hmm.
year there's an audit on me. There's a reason why there's an audit on me, right? Because it keeps a check on my credibility.
Correct.
And that also puts me into order because otherwise, who's going to control me as an entrepreneur? I may do whatever I feel like doing with that money, right? And I may also become another NPA.
Right.
So if government is putting those checks and balances in place, it is for us. So because
Yeah.
they want us to flourish and they want us in some ways to stay disciplined.
True.
When whatever requests we made to the government and to the Honorable Finance Minister in April, just
Mm-hmm.
when the lockdown happened. All our
Mm-hmm.
requests were addressed within 30 days. Our
Mm-hmm.
pending tax credits were credited into our account in 45 days. And on the 90th day, there is a bank chasing you that, "Hey, take money." What else can the government do?
I know.
Right?
I know.
That's that. So I think things are happening, support is being provided. You got to be alert and you got to focus on making things happen.
Yatin, I wanted to hear it from you. The truth is that I was one of the first advocates of the CGTS MSME scheme when it just got announced. The reason I went and applied for it is because except for Unspun, which we had investors, all my other companies have been bootstrapped, have been personally funded because I'm not a big believer of going and taking money from outside. I like to keep the control of the company, and also because it allows me as an individual to keep innovating, right? I can diversify. But like you said, I want to share it with our viewers, and before I go to Jay sir, that it's true that the government actually is going out to support entrepreneurs. And just like Yatin, I have two of my businesses which are funded by the bank, and the bank actually gave me an excess of 20% credit without without zero documentation, just a sign on a paper, and they said, listen, you have 20% more credit at almost half of the interest rate that was available to you before, because we want you to stay strong, we want you to survive, we want you to scale. But Yatin, you said something very important, which is what I believe is what entrepreneurs need to hear. There is passion and prudence in business. You may get too passionate, but if you lose hang of the prudence, you fall flat on your face. The businesses that you decide to do should not only be for now, but should be for tomorrow as well. Even though there is a peak time for every business always has an exit strategy or a diversification strategy. But remember, you have to have enough concept. And if you are going to get into manufacturing, which is what banks support even more, because whenever you have stock, the chances that you're going to get a better credit line because you have something tangible. So think about the prudence part besides just passion. Also think about what is required in the new digital economy. I'm going to talk to Jay sir about Industry 5.0 a little bit. I've been talking about it a lot in different forums. To me, Industry 5.0 is about hyper personalization. What I mean by hyper personalization is that you make data completely data-based, intelligent decision making. So anything that you do, whether you want to launch a product, whether you want to diversify, whether you want to enter a new market, it should all be based on data and intelligence. And where does that intelligence come from? It comes from IoT, it comes from AI, it comes from blockchain, and most importantly, it comes from you being able to integrate the right tools into the platform that you are building, right? I am a very, very large e-commerce player. I own brands on e-commerce. I've been selling on e-commerce for a few years now. For me, the most important thing when I'm selling on my website is to understand, is my user only interested in one product? Is there a chance for me to upscale? How do I reduce my abandoned cart rate? How do I ensure that if they're adding a product to the cart but not checking out, how am I able to understand what the reasons for it? Are they coming from an urban city? Are they coming for tier one, tier two, or tier three cities? Is it the discount percentage? All of this intuitiveness is what is going to drive me to decide which products am I going to launch, what kind of discounts I want to give, how quickly do I want to liquidate my stock, what new variations I want to bring. Is black a better color or beige a better color, or should I discontinue one? So that is what hyper personalization is about. That is what I've been talking about in different forums. What to you is the new Industry 5.0?
Yeah, so before I answer this question, just listening to Yatin, I think it's a great example. These are the things that we have to promote and bring more awareness. A lot of people, they only keep criticizing, oh, government is not doing this, government is not doing that. They are all in that negative mode of only in the criticism. I think, Yatin, you really brought how government is so proactive and helping companies like yourself. And this is the kind of stories that we need to promote. And we should help the government, because they also have a lot of constraints and all that, this thing. This is the time, whatever best possible they're trying to do. I think from the industry point of view, we have to give right kind of suggestions and see that we work with them and give right suggestions. In fact, I recall when there was a nuclear explosion at Pokhran, afterwards there was the US sanctions against India. Right. During that time, I have seen, we were not allowed to import any high-end computing system and a lot of issues. We were not able to do anything in the technology space. At that point of time, I knew that because I was interfacing with Electronics Corporation of India Limited, ECIL, they were trying to do the re-engineering of the entire computers, whether it's a mini computer or a microcomputer or a mainframe computer. At that point of time, Government of India also came out with CDOT and CDAC supercomputing the organizations. And we really, from ground up, we developed the technologies both on the hardware side, the software side, and the operating system side. And because of that, we are now in the commanding situation in terms of the technology. Now, India can say that we are better than any other country in terms of technology or new solutions and all that. Now we are
Right.
in a similar kind of a situation. The COVID pandemic is giving a lot of new opportunities for young entrepreneurs. And
Right.
fortunately, now what I have seen, I live in a colony called Hillridge Villas in Hyderabad.
Mm-hmm.
80% of the people who all returned from Silicon Valley or from Seattle, and they brought a lot of R&D exposure working in big multinational companies and all that. And
Right.
those are the people who can help in coming out with new innovative, new technology solutions. And India itself is a big market. Now, ours is not a small country. I mean, our consumer are 1.3 billion people. And we don't have to really look for, I have to only sell in China, then only I can survive. India itself is going to be a big market. Now, Chinese manufacturers are going to be in trouble because of the coming war. A lot of people are thinking why I should use a Chinese product. If
Mm-hmm.
that sentiment grows up, of
Right.
suppose if some of the Indian innovators and entrepreneurs like Yatin and yourself come out with a new manufacturing technology for Indian consumers, that
Right.
itself can create a lot of jobs. That
True.
itself can take a $1 trillion economy to $5 trillion economy, and it will take care of the rest of the issues. I think this is the time. Definitely the industry 5.0, and India is very well positioned for the mass customization, and we have the technology people, we have the market, and fortunately, because we have the second economy, and a lot of
Right.
people are there to invest
Yeah.
because of the second economy. That money is available for a lot of entrepreneurs like you. For example, you said you are not taking any money from the bank, you are not taking any money from the venture. A lot of people in India can afford to, by not taking money from the banks, by not taking money from the venture capitalists or angel investors, still they can start a company and create job opportunities. I don't think this is the kind of situation is available in most of the developed countries. They always look forward to either VC has to come and invest or angel has to. India is not that kind of a situation. A lot of high net worth individuals are there. They have a lot of money to investable money is there. Only thing
Correct.
is we have to really create a positive vibe. This is a
Right.
great opportunity for India to really come with best of the best products from India, made in India products, made in India. Those IPs have to be owned by the Indian companies. I think if you can create two or three Googles or Microsofts from India, that will take care of all our whatever the tax revenue will increase, and there will be surplus money with the government of India and state governments will be available for a lot of welfare activities. I think we are. I am very optimistic that the pandemic situation created by COVID, definitely the entrepreneurs like you and Nitin will come with a best of the best solutions for the industry 5.0, and that will take care of India. Not only take care, I think we will take that number 2 position, maybe beating China.
So we while Yatin and me and all the other people who are listening, I think there are some prolific entrepreneurs out there who are already doing their bit. But that's where we need support from people like you who have not only been at the helm of affairs when it came to bringing new areas of opportunities to India, and we're gonna talk about a little about that STPI work that you have done and how that is changing. But just to clarify, I did take loan from the bank. The reason I believed in taking a loan from the bank is because I felt that it is better to take a loan from the bank and have accountability than taking money from a VC and lose the power to run my business completely, right? What a bank really cares about is how sustainable your business is. And we're going to talk about that with Yatin as well. I think today sustainability, scalability is key. So when you are approaching a bank for any kind of SME loan or any kind of any kind of funding requirement, the bank you have to understand is not equipped to judge your business. What the bank looks at is this business sustainable, not only in paper but in reality? Is it scalable? So, like Yatin and me, we're beneficiaries of these bank credit schemes, which are no collateral loans and have now been extended. It's because our businesses have been sustainable, our businesses have been scalable. I think a mantra for Indian entrepreneurs now is about the sustainability and scalability. And Yatin, that brings me to you. So you and I have discussed this. We talked about sustainability and scalability in business. What does it mean in technology, right? Like, for example, even though we are boycotting, and why am I asking you this is there is a big there is a big uproar about China. We know the geopolitical issues that we're facing with China, but hey, we cannot discount the fact that China has made very, very heavy investment in a lot of our big startups, and therefore they have access to a lot of information. How secure are we given that China has deep roots into India already through our startup ecosystem? One. Second, what I want you to answer is, if now we stop the FDI, if we stop these investments from happening, will our startup ecosystem suffer? Or are we as a country capable of handling these ourselves? So if you can answer those two questions for me.
So, Shom, see, this whole the China issue is very new. It's very unfortunate what is happening. I feel no matter what we do, completely discounting China is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Every country has to be self-sustaining, and I think the bigger question for India, for Indian residents, and for Indian entrepreneurs is that if China can become so self-sustaining
Mm-hmm.
and can service the world, why can't we?
Mm-hmm.
Right? There is having trade between different nations is healthy. It's
Mm-hmm.
not unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole idea is that if you're trading with China, if there are imports happening from China, there
Mm-hmm.
should also be exports to China, and there should be exports to other countries as well. I
Mm-hmm.
think somewhere Prime Minister has really tried hard uh, in supporting the export economy. He's always been saying that we will export skills to the world, we'll export technology to the world, and we have done that in many ways, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
remember in 2018, the pact which we signed between India and Taiwan, the whole
Yeah.
initiative which we took to establish G-Asia Pass, these
Right.
were all initiatives focused on ensuring we have stronger manufacturing bases in India. We
Mm-hmm.
have stronger access for Indian entrepreneurs
Mm-hmm.
to open up their businesses in new markets,
Mm-hmm.
especially within Asia, and for
Mm-hmm.
other entrepreneurs also to come in over here. So I
Right.
think I don't think it's fair to restrict, but it is very important that India understands its power
Mm-hmm.
and also builds that access around the world. If
Mm-hmm.
today China can control data in India or has access to
Yeah.
information in India, why can't India have that access in China or anywhere in the world? I
Right.
think the developed nations understood it.
Mm-hmm.
US has been on the forefront of that. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
Now China is coming in, stepping in, and they're upping up the game. But
Mm-hmm.
we are no less, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being the tech pioneers, being the tech architects of
Right.
the world, I
Right.
think we really need to understand what role can we play.
Right.
There's also a significant amount of dilution done by a very large telecom player, which we all have
Mm-hmm.
seen, and
Yeah.
they managed to raise about $16 billion in 9 weeks' time,
Yeah.
right? Just on their data project.
Yeah.
That shows the opportunities and the power of India.
Yeah.
And if they can attract investments, they are just a bridge. Imagine the kind of opportunities which lie with each and every entrepreneur. I
Right.
think what entrepreneurs really need to understand is that you don't need to just focus on being a unicorn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well said.
Somewhere all these young entrepreneurs start focusing on becoming unicorns too early,
Yeah.
right? I can say when Ritesh was coming, when he was staying at our premise,
Mm-hmm.
he was an 18-year-old dude who was trying to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to build a product which would solve a problem for some people. He tapped into
Correct.
that opportunity, right?
Correct.
And he tapped it well. He was
Mm-hmm.
able to improve his skills. He was
Mm-hmm.
able to network with the right set of people. He was able to enroll himself into different programs. He's a self-taught entrepreneur. He doesn't have any education backing him.
Correct.
In spite of that, if whatever guy has achieved, it's phenomenal, right?
Correct.
So That's what everyone needs to understand, that how you all need to focus on solving that problem, right? And
Correct.
figuring out opportunities within the ecosystem. I did the same thing with the co-working industry, right? We have seen the revolution happening. In
Mm-hmm.
2011, when I entered this area, no one even understood what was co-working. It
Correct.
was very tricky for me to justify my stand to too many
Mm-hmm.
people. I never envisioned that it's going to become an industry. I
Mm-hmm.
never even envisioned to open a second branch. Today we
Mm-hmm.
have 8 branches, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all are self-funded.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, I had been exposed to the VC private equity environment at a much early stage of my entrepreneurial journey. So
Mm-hmm.
when I was devising my business model,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't lured by their funds. It's
Correct.
not that we weren't approached. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that we didn't have those options, right?
True.
Everything existed, especially with the credibility which we have as individual entrepreneurs.
Right.
But the model which I defined made sure that the stakeholders, each of the stakeholders were benefited by
Mm-hmm.
our product, right? And it was
Correct.
simple. We are a service company. We are a
Correct.
management company. So we are comparable to a Marriott uh, or a Radisson, right? Or a Hilton group in the office industry. That's what we were building. We built it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of VCs came in and said, you need organic growth. Why don't you give us a strategy and tell us how can you open up 100 locations? I was like,
Whew.
guys, 100 locations. You are asking me to set up 100 locations with 250 to 500 seats at each location. That means you want me to create a capacity of 25 to 50,000 seats in
Mm-hmm.
1 year's time. If I put in the money, it's definitely easy to achieve that, right? All I got
Mm-hmm.
to do is sign up all the leases and keep building capacity. But
Correct.
how am I going to sell it, right?
Correct. Correct.
Do those 50,000 users exist in my ecosystem at this point of
Mm-hmm.
time? It's too
Mm-hmm.
early to say. Can
Mm-hmm.
I go and convince these people to buy space at my premise? And there are other players also entering in the market.
Correct.
I'm not the only guy. So
Correct.
what will happen?
Mm-hmm.
And in 8.5 years, we see there are almost 800 plus co-working operators,
Mm-hmm.
large, small,
Yeah.
standalone units, right? Fancy boutique spaces,
Right.
luxury spaces, whatnot.
Right.
Eventually, for us, what worked was being in India, we made sure that if we have to survive in this market, we have to be price conscious. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where we made a product as a budget product.
Mm-hmm.
We, we developed it. When we were building a budget product, we
Mm-hmm.
made sure that we figured out where were our significant costs. And one of
Mm-hmm.
our key costs was in form of real estate, right? Because that's the core
Correct.
component of any space.
Correct.
So we reached out to these real estate owners and we
Mm-hmm.
convinced them to become a key stakeholder in the business, which they agreed
Mm-hmm.
to.
Mm-hmm.
Today, our real estate owners have become our angel investors because they give us the the commodity, which is the real estate, and they also pump in capital to enhance that real estate. And why do
Right.
they do that? Because they own it, right? So
Correct.
they have that sense of ownership. So when they put in the money, they say, "Oh, we are putting in money on our own asset, right?
Right.
We are not putting it on someone else." So it becomes
Yeah.
a win-win situation. So I feel the reason I'm narrating these things are that it's very important for every entrepreneur to understand how to define or devise the right business model, right?
Very
And how do you make sure that all the stakeholders are in place? If you
correct.
have an external investor, they want to control the whole chain and they
Right.
want to, unfortunately, extract the entire cream out of it,
Correct.
right? Without leaving much of scope for other people. But if
Very
you
true.
have to sustain yourself, if you have to get over any sort of crisis, if you have to
Mm-hmm.
build a healthy economy, you got to build a complementary structure which services
Absolutely.
everyone and pays everyone in the right manner.
Absolutely, Yatin. I can't tell you how proud I am when you narrate the story because I know it. I know that journey, and I choose co-working as a business model any day over WeWork, because anything that is built on faff, that is built on valuation, that is built on investors' money without any real optimal output is bound to fail. Anything, I think, if we go back 40, 50 years, the reason companies like Reliance, Birla, Tatas were actually built, and the reason they still survive, the reason they still thrive, is because they were built on the concept, like you said, that it is sustainable, it is scalable, and most important thing is that even during a pandemic, it does not get hurt as badly as those that are just built on valuation and investor money. And with that, I want to bring this point to Jay sir. Jay sir, way before this pandemic happened, you were way ahead in your thinking about education, because you always said, and I was a part of that vision of yours. You said, Shom, agility in education is the future of education. Nobody nowadays have time for a 3-year degree. US have moved that road long back. UK has moved that road long back. China has moved that road long back. Now it's all about skill-based education. And you were the founder of IIDT in Andhra Pradesh, which is India's first digital technology education institute. So what led you to have that vision? I want our viewers to understand why 4 or 5 years back you were already thinking about, and today, in today's scenario, it's become so much more relevant, right? Everything is digital. The teachers are online. The students are online. Education is no longer going to be the same. And people are not going to travel outside the country for education, because they're now going to see, how can I keep my safety in mind, yet have access to great education? So, if you can throw some light on that vision and also its impact in our current scenario, I think our viewers would really, really enjoy that learning a lot.
He's on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, sir.
Thank you, Som. Actually, there are a couple of reasons why I started this IIDT 4 or 5 years back, because the way things were happening in India and elsewhere, everybody was going digital. Digital was happening. The governments were going digital. Banks were going digital. Insurance companies were going digital. And the way technologies were changing, whatever technologies today, 6 months down the line, the technology will disappear. Something else was coming. So I keep telling the example of earlier, we used to watch 5-day cricket matches earlier. All the 5 days we used to be in the stadiums and watch those cricket matches. Today, who are going to watch those 5-day cricket matches? They're all looking at T10, T20 kind of cricket matches. So the attention span itself is changing, and the way the product life cycle, technology life cycles are changing. So obviously, education life cycle also has to be changed. So with that intent, I thought, we should create a 1-year, that too industry-led training program, where they'll be able to, for example, Indian School of Business in Hyderabad, unlike the other management schools, which is a 2-year degree, here they are able to compress in 1 year, fully residential, and they are able to do very well in the international scenario. Their students are doing very well. I thought, in technology also, digital technology, why don't we experiment creating a 1-year residential program, totally supported by the industry, because these technologies, we can't expect the faculty to really teach this new technology, which are not now, which are going to happen tomorrow. So that's the reason why I created the IIDT, and that really produced a very good results. In fact, I see in current situation where everything is happening online, everything is happening digital. Earlier, for me to get a mentor from Seattle, from Silicon Valley, and he was taking classes online to our IIDT students, still there was some resistance from the students. Today, all that has gone. They are forced to study online, either a LKG student or the BTech student. I think we can take this as an advantage to see that how we can, as you rightly said, the mass customization, hyper personalization. That's where the very big opportunity for entrepreneurs like Yatin and you. Why I'm telling? Because India itself, every state has got a different language, different culture, different kind of accent. This thing. If you can create a good personalized education modules using AR, VR technology, using online, offline, the digital content with a small modules of those this thing. I think that's going to be very big opportunity, even financially. All these entrepreneurs, just suppose if I am entrepreneur for Telugu states. Telugu state itself, so many crores of people are there, the population. If I can concentrate and create education content for school education or higher education with a personalized bots, which can train this thing with. Suppose you are a student and I've created a component, and this personalized bot will tell you what is required for you to study, what is where you need to change, what is the assessment, because today the teachers cannot assess the kind of assessment which they normally conventional assessment model. If somebody can come out with a bot which has got a machine learning and learns based on the students' capabilities and give the question paper on the fly and assess him and guide him and all that, I think that itself is going to be a great, phenomenal opportunity for entrepreneurs to create the educational content and assess them, prepare them for the new technology, because technologies are changing, and he has to obviously keep changing. The new content has to be created, new educational content has to be prepared, and that content is not available today. That assessment is not available, and that is the opportunity in India. The another opportunity, since I'm in my village, I'm seeing a lot of agricultural farmers, particularly organic farmers. They're doing wonderful job. Only thing is, we need to provide how to process their organic goods, whatever they're producing, and maybe mini processing units for those marginalized farmers. And if somebody can create some kind of the supply chain mechanism, how to take this thing, how to validate those organic products and create some processing this thing and sell them through your the e-commerce way all over the globe, these products, because everybody is looking for good, healthy products where the traceability of that particular product is right from the farm level to the consumer level. If some entrepreneurs can make use of this opportunity at this point of time, because everything is going online and people can sell online. So these two opportunity itself is going to be a very big opportunity, and the rural economy also will be benefited. And today, in fact, many employees who are earlier working in Hyderabad, they are all from villages. Because of the COVID, now they are going happily going to the villages. They are also looking at what they can do for the farms. At the same time, they are contributing for their company sitting in their villages, because the bandwidth is available, technology tools are available, no issues on that this thing. So they are able to contribute, they are able to help their parents sitting in their village, at the same time making their this thing. I think this model of working from home and also looking at various other aspects is going to be very big opportunity for our people. And only thing is, we have to properly package it, properly bring that awareness, and people like us have to tell, okay, this is an opportunity, how you can really create this thing. Maybe some in between this thing, I mean, if you can create some platforms for every opportunity, create a platform and see that those produce are properly marketed within India and outside India, I think we can really create a lot of job opportunities, and we not have to worry at all how we are going to create new jobs for our the youth coming out of the schools and colleges.
That's wonderful. We don't even know where 1 hour flew, and I wanted to get some closing statements. I have a few questions, and I think I'm going to start with Yatin. I want you to give your thoughts. The first thing that somebody is asking here, Pooja, who's basically talking about that as an entrepreneur, right? Things have changed. Like, my consumers are, especially when it comes to retail, my consumers are no longer walking into my store. I already have invested a lot in inventory. I've invested a lot in manpower and in the asset. And I think the reason I'm asking you this question is because you talked about that whole involving the real estate owner as a stakeholder in the company. Yatin, what is going to happen to retail post-COVID 2020? That's the first thing. And the second thing that I want to answer before your closing statements is, the other thing that people are talking about is community. Post COVID, because the lack of, especially because of social distancing, the lack of regular meetups, the networking, which was at the one of the key ways of an entrepreneur to connect with other people, whether it's equity holder, whether it's partners, whether it's other different kind of stakeholders, that is going to substantially reduce. So, what is the role of community now in shaping the future of entrepreneurship in India?
Okay. So for on your first question, Shom, on retail,
Yes,
see, we are anyways getting to see that the physical retail spend is anyways on a decline.
right.
And I think COVID just added to the trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh, Today, I have an opportunity to browse through the entire catalog
Mm-hmm.
sitting at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have the opportunity to scout for the best deals.
Mm-hmm.
So when a situation like that already exists, when a solution already exists, then for me to walk into a store to buy something is
Mm-hmm.
purely on the basis of emergency,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's where I feel the distribution channel has already moved online. We were
Mm-hmm.
getting to see it, but its importance was seen during the lockdown period because the dependability increased and the addiction also increased. So that's
Right.
where I feel I don't know what's going to be the future of all these retail spaces or malls.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot answer it because we are still in lockdown. I don't see any of us moving out.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, shopping is moving online and it has already moved online. Shopping, groceries, food, everything is going online, and Zomato is one of the key examples for that, right? Like how they played a key role in it. All the e-com
So,
players, but I would put special emphasis on Zomato because how they pivoted and how they added services and how they are servicing everyone. Now, the second point which you have touched is the role of communities.
right.
Uh, Now, this is something which I learned, I think, after 6 or 7 years of my entrepreneurial journey, that eventually people matter.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, mentors matter.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, your customers matter.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, your investors matter, right? And
Mm-hmm.
investors can be anything. In our cases, it's the bank. In
Mm-hmm.
others' cases, it might be angels and VCs.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep building relationships with them and you have to keep ensuring you are interacting with them.
Mm-hmm.
Today, if I am part of any community, my
Mm-hmm.
learning is better,
Mm-hmm.
my access to customer base is better,
Mm-hmm.
my access to latest technology, and my chances of access to latest technology is higher,
Mm-hmm.
and my access to capital is
Mm-hmm.
also much better. So that's where whatever you do, you got to make sure you are a part of some community.
Mm-hmm.
And you can only be a part of a community when you also contribute to that community.
Right.
So when I was a part of Startup Weekend and Techstars, we had this philosophy called give first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is, and it is the same philosophy which Indians are taught right at the beginning of donations to
Right.
temples and to
Mm-hmm.
charitable organizations, right? A lot of people feel that why do we do charity?
Right.
What is happening? We say, okay, we are buying good karma, we are supporting
Mm-hmm.
some people or whatnot.
Right. Right.
Remember, the trends are changing. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
temples and religious institutions don't exist,
Mm-hmm.
but the role which they used to play earlier is the
Mm-hmm.
role which the digital economy will play in the future.
Right.
So invest in it, donate to these
I love it.
communities, give
Mm-hmm.
your time,
Mm-hmm.
volunteer over there,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do some seva
Mm-hmm.
because it will come back and it will reap some benefits to you in the
True.
coming future.
True.
So that's my 2 cents on community.
Yatin, I'll tell you something. It's something you beautifully said, and I'm gonna, go to Jay sir after that. Is that you go to temples, you pray, and you ask God for something, and you don't know whether what is coming to you is fulfilled by God or your own karma, your own actions. But if you contribute to communities, and which I believe, why we need more of the Kickstarters in India, more of such initiative, where even if you contribute 1,000 rupees to an idea, and 10,000 people contribute 1,000 rupees to the idea, can you imagine the magnanimity of that contribution, where you actually see something fructify, you see what that 1,000 rupees has done, for that particular venture. Why do we even then need to go to, whether it's VCs, whether it's private equities, or even bankers? We can be our own private banks through this whole donation. Like you said, seva, the ultimate goal of seva is to see something fructifying. So the way the Sikhs do it, when they do their seva, when they feed people, the whole thing is to insatiate that hunger. And for an entrepreneur, the biggest hunger is to be successful at a venture. So if we can contribute both intellectually and philosophically and monetarily, then I think the whole the whole paradigm is going to shift. And Yatin, you're driving some of these things. So I'm going to give you a big shout out that those who are listening to this today, to COVID Warriors today, uh, Yatin is responsible for getting GEN, the Global Entrepreneurship Network, to India. He runs this community that empowers entrepreneurs, that helps in cross-border relations, that helps in fostering partnerships. Please, please, please do reach out to him. It's yatin.thakur@genglobal.com. Yatin, is that correct?
No, it's yatin@genindia.org.
Yatin@genindia.com. Pardon me, Yatin. So you need to reach out to Yatin, figure out how you can contribute, how you can participate, and how we can, through communities, empower more and more entrepreneurs, empower each other. That's going to be the true success, the true evolution out of this pandemic, right, Yatin? And I come to the next thing, Jay. So I have been getting a lot of questions for you, and somebody asked me, because you are now the chairman of the blockchain council. Somebody is asking that, hey, you talked about the entire supply chain management. What's going to be the role of blockchain in that? How these organic farmers can take advantage of blockchain to reach the last mile delivery? And I would then go to each one of you for your closing statements, for this series today.
Thank you for that question. Am I audible?
Yes, now you're audible, sir.
Hello? Yeah. Thank you so much for that question. Definitely, blockchain technology is very, very useful for wherever there is a supply chain logistics are involved. Particularly in Andhra Pradesh itself, we have seen many cases where the shrimp exporters from the coastal Andhra Pradesh, earlier they used to export shrimp from the coastal districts of Andhra Pradesh to Japan, other countries. Sometimes they used to get all the containers used to get rejected because they were not able to one of the small temperatures difference. The entire container they have to dump in the ocean there itself. Now they are able to use the blockchain technology. Have the complete traceability right from the production to the way when it has been shipped to particular shipment, which box had the problem, this thing. Because of the traceability, instead of dumping the whole aqua, this thing, they are able to take away only the bad portion and look at the traceability, why this has happened. I think definitely blockchain technology is very well suited wherever the traceability has to be properly recorded. People can believe if you put that entire information on the blockchain technology that nobody can tamper, and your customers can see that the integrity in your approach, and that's where blockchain technology is definitely getting a lot of usage. And I really appreciate what Yatin said. Today, the karma yoga, instead of we going to the temple and praying for Lord Venkateshwara, do something for me and all that, people like us, we have to create within our this thing domain. See, what is our domain is the innovation, entrepreneurship. If I can create one extra job, that means one family I'm supporting, the entire family, that generation, the complete generation will take care of the family. I think instead of we wasting our time to do the fire rituals, going to the
Correct.
temples, we should not waste our time for those things. We should
Correct.
follow karma yoga, like whatever this thing. How do we create more jobs? How do we help be a mentor and mentor one of the startup companies and things like that? That's where
Correct.
I think all of us have to get into that karma yoga. And with that, even Lord Krishna also in Bhagavad Gita said, more than Gnana Yoga and other yogas, Karma Yoga is the one which is the ultimate. I think we are in that ultimate business of getting the moksha from God also through this Karma Yoga. I think
Right.
let us all do this Karma Yoga in this pandemic situation, create more jobs, create more young people to get onto the new technologies. I think that itself will enable us to get that real moksha for all of us.
I grew up on the teachings of Swami Vivekananda, and for his definition, like you said, karma yoga is that if there is anything that is remembered, is your action, and the greatest action is kindness, and kindness only comes when you contribute. So, Yatin, uh, 2020, it was supposed to be a year that everybody was looking forward to. It's a transitional year. It's a monumental year for this decade, for this century. A lot of people are still recovering or recuperating from this pandemic that doesn't seem to really kind of mitigate. You've talked about some great insights today. I can't be more happier than having you two in this particular COVID Warrior series, because a lot of people were asking me, show me you're an entrepreneur. You've been talking to different kinds of people, different backgrounds, talking about how they're dealing with COVID. Why haven't you gotten entrepreneurs yet? Why aren't you talking about economy? So I have the two legends in their own right, in this series today, who've given some amazing insights. But Yatin, one key takeaway for everyone who's listening today, or those who are going to listen later on, what's Yatin Thakur's mantra for 2020 post Corona? So there is before Corona and post Corona. So post Corona, what's Yatin's mantra?
See, I would say, frankly, Shom, this lockdown period, I've been really enjoying. Okay, like it may sound weird, but I think I'm using it. So like first 2 weeks, I used it as a downtime. Then I
Mm-hmm.
figured out I was evaluating how things were working out. Obviously, I was reading
Mm-hmm.
what was happening around the world, because that curious mind always wants to
No more, explore.
work on wants to know what's going to go on.
Mm-hmm.
So my advice to the entrepreneurs is that listen, right now, don't panic and
Mm-hmm.
don't try to put yourself and your family at threat. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We are attempting to revive economy. We are attempting to revive our businesses, but we have
Mm-hmm.
this deadly disease around us.
Right.
Don't play with it,
Right.
because unfortunately, no one has any solution to it. So
True.
if we say that, oh, nothing is going to happen to us,
Mm-hmm.
we'll sail through it. Let me go. We can't live in a scary environment, or we can't be scared of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true,
True.
because if it affects you, it's going
Mm-hmm.
to affect you badly. So
Right.
don't mess up with it.
Right.
Instead, use this opportunity to figure out what are you going to do post
Next.
COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Use this opportunity to improve your skill sets, improve your
Mm-hmm.
knowledge, learn
Mm-hmm.
about the future tech. As
Mm-hmm.
Jason also told us, learn what's happening, learn what's blockchain all about, learn what's where the world is moving,
Mm-hmm.
because things will change, right? The way trade has stopped around the world,
Mm-hmm.
it will have a lot of impact on a lot of things. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not only the trade which impacts us. The biggest thing is we have learned to be independent. We have learned to be completely self-reliant, right? And self-sustainable. in our
Right.
own ways. If you have
Right.
stayed at home during lockdown, if you have worked on your whole set of things as
Mm-hmm.
Indians, if you have worked on your errands, if you have worked on your households, you know you
Mm-hmm.
can sustain yourself.
True.
So continue with that. Use the same philosophy and focus on building something for the future. If you plan to even work, if you have lost your job, if you have been laid off, unfortunately, don't lose heart because everything will come back. You will be required, but you might be required with a new skill set.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure that you are equipping yourself with those set of skill sets and keep learning, keep reading.
Awesome. Wow, Yatin, you are so young and have some of the best, philosophies. That is what has gotten you this far. And I'm just going to summarize what you said before I go to Jason for his closing mantra. Guys, we're still battling this pandemic. It's still not over. A lot of us may be just asymptomatic carriers, but let's not jeopardize our lives or the lives of those we love or anyone. The focus should be to emerge victorious, and the only way to emerge victorious is to keep the mind open, continue to read, continue to learn, so that when time comes, you can apply and stay through this. Chaser, that was Yatin's mantra. That's how he's surviving, that's how he's coping, and that's what he wants all the other fellow entrepreneurs to do. So, how have you been coping? What's your mantra for the youth of this country, for whom you're an idol, who look up to you, who want to be like you? What are you gonna urge them to do? And most importantly, your mantra or your suggestion to the corporates, to the institutions during this time.
So, my mantra is I want to copy your mantra because you introduced COVID warriors. So I urge everybody should feel like they are the warriors. They are going to really challenge the challenges
Yeah.
and they should be bold. And suppose somebody is getting laid off from a industry, be
Mm-hmm.
sympathetic. See how you can help him, how you can connect him to a lot of people. They keep telling that as a kind of this thing. Instead of that, can I help him? Can I
True.
connect him to some opportunity? I think I urge everybody should become a great COVID warrior,
Right.
fight this pandemic, and boldly face this war. And we can win this battle. We can win with that kind of a positive approach. And we
Right.
should be like our soldiers fighting at our borders, leaving their families and all that. This thing they're making so much of sacrifices, protecting our borders of this great country. And
Correct.
why should we feel this thing? Oh, I am very weak. I cannot do this. I cannot do this sacrifice and all that. I think everybody should think like we are the warriors. While
Correct.
they are protecting our country borders, somebody may have to protect the cyber borders. Cyber attacks are going to happen. Can
Yeah.
we provide some kind of a cyber shield
Right.
to innocent people like that? I mean, each one of us should become like a COVID warrior, try to
Right.
help our fellow beings and be bold and challenge the challenges, and we can certainly win this Kurukshetra war post COVID.
Awesome. Sir, Yatin, I think those were some great mantras. And like Sir said, and I believe the reason I started this series is not only to bring the true warriors who don't necessarily come in uniform. Though I started this series with a discussion with the DGP, who's a police officer, woman police officer, and IPS officer in the forefront. And today I'm talking to the two most coveted entrepreneurs our Bharat has produced. One who's been an example of laying the foundation, and the other who's taking that foundation and building blocks on top of it. I'm really grateful to you, Tracer and Yatin, to be here. And before we close the session today, I just want to tell all the viewers, everybody who's watched, who's commented, thank you so much. Remember this: COVID has taught us one thing: to not take anything for granted, but most importantly, is to come together. We often take relationships, we often take opportunities, we often take people for granted. It's a time where we need to change that. We need to change that philosophy. We need to change that thought process. We are in this together. The virus does not bias between who has more money, who's more powerful, who is capable, who's not. It just looks for a host. So for us, this is an opportunity, and let us be that host. Let us make India great again. It is already a phenomenal country with the largest youth population, with the highest amount of, brain contribution to the rest of the world. Let's use that to make our country better. Let's make India a go-to manufacturing hub. Let's make India a go-to technology hub. We are no longer just an outsourcing capital for the company, for the world. We should be the capital of innovation, and that's what we should do. So let's build the next Tesla out of India. Let's build the next Zoom, and most importantly, let's keep powering the SME sector because they're the backbone of the country. With that, thank you so much, Yatin. Thank you so much, Jay. It was an honor to have the both of you. Jay, regards to your family. Yatin, regards to your family as well. And I can't wait to talk to you guys again soon. And those who want to reach out, please feel free. They're on LinkedIn. They're all social channels. They're all big celebrities in their own right. Let's together to help each other out. Till the next COVID Warrior series, stay safe, stay well, and take care. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Great session. I enjoyed. Thank you,
you.
Yatin. We'll get connected.
Absolutely. Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.